A federal judge has ruled that President Trump's use of the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelan migrants from South Texas is unlawful, and President Trump has issued an executive order attempting to end federal funding for NPR and PBS. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. The Trump administration is ending a duty-free exemption on low-value imports from China starting today. That includes sites like SHEIN or Temu. NPR's Emily Fang says the move will make those goods much more expensive for American consumers.
There has been pressure since the Biden administration to end what's called the de minimis loophole, meaning packages under $800 were not charged an import fee. More than 1 billion of these packages now come to the U.S. a year, mostly from China, a more than six-fold increase from the last decade. The Trump administration says it's now going to charge customs duties on packages from China in order to combat fentanyl trafficking and to collect revenue for the government. American consumers are now sharing screenshots of the new import cost estimates they're getting on Temu, which in most cases double or even triple the cost of their purchases from China. And trade logistics companies are warning of massive delays in shipping in the coming weeks. Emily Fang, NPR News, Washington.
President Trump is set to propose a summary of his budget to Congress. NPR has learned he'll propose $163 billion in spending cuts. These cuts will be targeted at discretionary spending that does not involve defense spending. The budget summary will be released later today. It's sometimes called a skinny budget. It does not include federal spending on safety nets such as Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Presidents often release a skinny budget proposal, followed later by the traditional full budget proposal that includes all spending and revenue projections. A federal judge in Texas has ruled that President Trump's use of the Alien Enemies Act to detain and deport certain Venezuelan immigrants from South Texas is unlawful. NPR's Sergio Martinez-Beltran reports this is the first time a federal judge has ruled the act cannot be used against the alleged gang members.
The Venezuelan men in this Texas case are accused of being members of Tren de Aragua, a Venezuelan gang that the president describes as invading the United States. U.S. District Judge Fernando Rodriguez Jr., a Trump appointee, wrote the administration does not have the authority to detain the men. That's because the gang's criminal activities, while harmful, do not constitute an invasion or predatory incursion as understood under the Alien Enemies Act. His decision covers all of the Southern District of Texas, which includes Brownsville, McAllen, and Houston. Sergio Martinez-Beltran, NPR News, Austin.
In Colorado, immigration authorities are proposing what appears to be the largest fine ever against 3 companies. From Colorado Public Radio, Ben Marcus has more.
The proposed fines come after audits by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. More than $8 million in possible fines for employing unauthorized workers. That includes a more than $6 million fine against CCS Denver, which provides janitorial services. They refused to comment. The other 2 companies penalized by ICE could not be located, and a spokesperson for the agency did not respond to a request for comment. President Donald Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, has promised a 400% increase in workplace enforcement actions. For NPR News, I'm Ben Marcus in Denver.
President Trump is replacing his national security advisor, Mike Waltz. He'll nominate him as the next U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. NPR's Asma Khalid reports this is the first major staff shakeup of Trump's second term.
Waltz has been under pressure since March when he inadvertently added a journalist to a text chain about U.S. military strikes in Yemen. But Vice President J.D. Vance told Fox News this change had nothing to do with that group chat incident.
The media wants to frame this as a firing. Donald Trump has fired a lot of people. He doesn't give them Senate-confirmed appointments afterwards.
Vance also insisted this move is not indicative of an ideological fight in the administration, though Waltz is known as being more hawkish than many others in Trump's inner circle. The president also announced that for the time being, Secretary Marco Rubio will take on the role of national security advisor, while also maintaining his job leading the State Department. Asma Khalid, NPR News.
President Trump has issued an executive order that attempts to end federal funding for NPR and PBS, accusing the organizations of political bias. NPR's Ryland Barton reports it's the latest attack on public media by the Trump administration.
Trump is ordering the Corporation for Public Broadcasting to stop sending money to NPR and PBS, and he's banning local public radio and TV stations from using taxpayer dollars to support the news organizations. The president says federal funding should not support what he calls biased and partisan news coverage. CPB is the independent nonprofit that Congress funds to partially pay for public broadcasting, and currently NPR receives about 1% of its funding directly from CPB, and PBS gets about 15%. Earlier this week, Trump moved to fire 3 of CPB's board members. They're suing, saying they're not a federal agency and don't serve at the pleasure of the president. Ryland Barton, NPR News.
Relief agencies are warning loudly food is running out in Gaza. Some are warning of famine. Israel has blocked all aid into Gaza for the past 2 months. The World Food Program says this is the longest closure by Israel since the war started. The organizations are demanding that Israel comply with international law. Israel says it's trying to force Hamas to release hostages. The Western movie Rust, starring and co-produced by actor Alec Baldwin, is debuting in movie theaters today. It's been 3 years since the film's original cinematographer Helena Hutchins was killed on set. NPR's Mandalit Del Barco has more.
Alec Baldwin plays the outlaw Harlan Rust in the fictional film set in the 1800s.
Some things in this life you can't get back, I reckon.
During production, Baldwin pointed the prop gun that went off, killing Helena Hutchins. The film's armorer is serving prison time, but Baldwin's involuntary manslaughter trial was dismissed. Director Joel Souza, who was shot in the shoulder, returned to finish Rust.
Obviously, the human cost and the tragedy of it overshadows everything. I guess I just wonder if people will sort of see past that and engage with it as a film, or if it will be a thing where people just can't ever separate the movie from what happened during its filming.
After premiering at a film festival in Poland, Rust now has a limited theatrical release and is on demand. Mandalit Del Barco, NPR News.
I'm Corva Coleman, NPR News in Washington.